It is my great honor to be included in the volume entitled Social Justice in Action, Models for Campus and Community. My chapter is the Evolutionary Science of Social Justice. And if you don't know who I am Dr. Joseph Graves, Jr., the Mackenzie Scott Endowed Professor of Biology at North Carolina A&T State University. Now, the purpose of my contribution is to acquaint the reader with the importance of the scientific method as a tool to understand human behavior. I also discuss the importance of science literacy, which of course is related to the idea that the scientific method is the most important tool we have for understanding nature, including the nature of ourselves. Now, I also discussed that in the piece that science literacy has literally never been more important in the United States. It accounts for how we understand scientific innovations, how we develop technology, how we engage in or fail to engage in democratic processes. It impacts our public policy. It influences individuals' access to healthcare, to cybersecurity, and how individuals receive or reject religious dogma, amongst many other things. Now, the piece is organized in subsections. Subsection 1, what evolution tells us about human beings, specifically how human behavior is evolved, but not in the ways that most people think. Indeed, our brains were evolved to solve the problems of social living. And while all humans, like every other biological organism, is self-interested, our interests are actually best advanced through our capacity for altruism, both to our close relatives and to individuals who are not our relatives at all. In subsection 2, I talk about how our cultural evolution has led to a tremendous mismatch between the architecture of our brains, which evolved as hunter-gatherers who lived in small, closely related groups, and in our modern agricultural technical societies, our brains are in fact not well suited to solve these problems. Indeed, this evolutionary mismatch has caused a great deal of suffering for people around the world. In subsection 3, I discuss the possibility of social justice, in that we have never actually lived in societies that were socially just past the introduction of agriculture, which occurred worldwide some 20,000 years ago. So to have the possibility of social justice, the first thing we have to think about is, what do we actually mean by this concept? Do we believe that all people have the right to equitable treatment? Do we believe in the support for the human rights for all? And do we believe in the idea that there should be a fair allocation of community resources? In subsection 4, I entitle What Can Be Done? In other words, how do we move towards social justice? If we believe in it, what must we do to achieve it? I argue that understanding the biology of our species is critical for any attempt to move us in that direction. But this also means that while we understand that our minds are foundationally irrational, they can be trained to act rationally. And with rational minds, we can also recognize that while we are all self-interested, in the 21st century, our interests can only be fostered by our altruism. I conclude by providing examples of how that altruism can be used to solve these problems, which are now existential problems for our species. So I hope you will read my piece. I hope you will read the volume as a whole. And I hope that the book will contribute towards your capacity to move towards a world in which everyone is treated with respect and dignity. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to hearing from you if you have any questions about my piece. Thank you.